How many remember British Knight sneakers? Ah, the 80s and 90s. A time when the sneaker game was booming, prices were cheap, the supply was plentiful, and resellers didn't exist yet. Nike had the Air Jordan, Adidas had the Superstar, and Reebok had the Pump. But there was another player in the game that was once the king of cool. British Knights, aka BKs. BKs were groundbreaking in the new industry of sneakers as casual wear. They worked closely with rappers and influencers of the day, and they built the legacy in an industry that today is ruled by the big guys. But if they were around, running neck and neck with brands like Nike and Adidas in their infancy, why didn't they too become the big guys? Well, let's find out. I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com, and this is the rise and fall of British Knights, a sneaker empire that later crumbled. But before we get started, please take a second to smash that like button and do all of the customary stuff that all YouTubers always ask you to do. The reason? Liking and sharing these videos is the best way to get the YouTube algorithms to notice smaller channels like ours, and it helps us grow. We hit the 17,000 sub mark, and I really can't thank you guys enough, but we also need more of your help to finally cross the 20K mark. Hopefully we can do that in the next couple of months. But with all that being said and out of the way, let's jump right into it. The story of BK actually starts all the way back in 1936 when Jack Schwartz started a small shoe company in New York. They initially focused on producing affordable and durable work boots and casual shoes for men, considering sneakers didn't really exist yet. Its early success was built on providing quality footwear at competitive prices, catering primarily to the blue-collar workers. Over the decades, Jack Schwartz Shoes expanded its portfolio to include a variety of footwear styles, including athletic shoes. This diversification allowed the company to remain competitive and adapt to changing market trends. And in the 80s, recognizing the growing popularity of sneakers and the rise of street culture, the suits were sparked with an idea. So in 1983, they launched a new sub-brand, British Knights. They chose the name British Knights, hoping that it would give the brand an air of sophistication, exclusivity, and global appeal, which coincidentally had many, including me as a kid, thinking that the brand was from merry old England, but no, they were actually homegrown. Unlike other sneaker brands focusing on performance and athletics, BKs leaned heavily into street style. Their slogan, "Choose Change," resonated with the generation looking to stand out with something new. The brand embraced the emerging hip-hop culture, becoming a favorite amongst breakdancers, graffiti artists, and rappers. By the late 80s, British Knights were everywhere. And in fact, only 2 years after Adidas announced their revolutionary first rap endorsement deal with the work that they did with Run DMC, British Knights would soon follow, working with Kool Moe Dee. In 1988, Kool Moe Dee was one of the hottest rappers in the game, so BK approached him and offered to pay him to use his single, How You Like Me Now, in their ad campaign. The British Knights ad campaign was built around print ads featuring the company's mascot, which was a knight wearing a tuxedo, with a speech bubble saying, quote, "How you like me now?" The term fit with BK's boisterous and in-your-face tone from a marketing perspective. It aligned to the other marketing slogans that they were using at the time, like, "The shoes ain't nothing without the BK button," or "Your mom wears Nikes."
Listen to your mother, but you don't have to dress like her. I mean, your mother wears Nikes.
It was clear that BK was taking a more aggressive approach to their competition, down to the fact that they knew that the song How You Like Me Now was viewed by many as a diss to LL Cool J, but they were good with it because that's how they felt about their competition. However, for the sake of full disclosure, Moe Dee went on record stating that the deal was never really that lucrative for him. To Adidas' credit, they took pretty good care of Run DMC, signing them to a deal worth $1.5 million in 1980s money. BK, on the other hand, they lowballed Moe Dee. They wanted him to wear the stuff on stage, but they were unwilling to pay him more for it. He even pitched the idea of getting a bit more involved in the design aspect and doing a signature sneaker, but they were leery of attaching their product to his to that degree. At the end of the day, many chalked the dropping of the ball by BK as an example of the corporate world's reluctance to fully embrace hip hop, despite their obvious fascination and willingness to make money off of it. But nonetheless, BK understood that sneakers were more than just athletic gear. They were a fashion statement. The edgy designs, bold colors, and flashy logos managed to make them a hit. In the early 90s, BK reached their peak, and they did so by working with yet another one of rap's biggest names at the time, MC Hammer. Hammer wasn't just a spokesperson, he was a cultural phenomenon at that time. His flashy style and dances perfectly aligned with British Knight's image. The brand expanded internationally, finding success in markets like Europe and Australia. By this point, British Knights were riding high, giving industry giants a real run for their money. But as quickly as they rose, they began to stumble. The mid-90s brought a shift in sneaker culture. Consumers gravitated towards more performance-focused brands. The popularity of Air Jordans and the rise of the tech-heavy Reebok pump kinda left BK struggling to keep up. Adding to their troubles, British Knights faced backlash for their association with inner-city violence. The brand's BK logo was reportedly adopted as a symbol by certain gangs, leading to a tarnished reputation for the sneaker company. British Knights couldn't reinvent themselves to match the performance-driven focus of the market. Their reliance on street culture, while groundbreaking at the time, became a limitation. Not to mention, they were unwilling to be bold enough to do some of the things that worked so well for other brands years later, which was allowing talent to design products. This could have helped them. The bigger brands began investing heavily in endorsements with top athletes, all of which helped ingratiate them in the hearts and minds of the public. BK, on the other hand, were having trouble standing the race. The bulky, flashy sneaker design that made British Knights popular fell out of favor as trends shifted towards sleeker, more minimalist styles. It was clear what was happening. Jack Swartz Shoes could see it and began shifting focus to other ventures. And in 1998, Jack Swartz Shoes Incorporated sold the British Knights trademark to Dutch company Acton Fashion Group. Acton continued manufacturing British Knights footwear for Europe and South America. This European branch is now known as British Knights EU. And in 2014, Jack Swartz Shoes established British Knights NA, or North America, in an attempt to revive the brand in the US market. This division was operated out of the original company's office in New York and managed by the same family that launched the brand way back in the 80s. But in December of 2022, BKNA was sold to Fraser's Group, making them the sole owner of the American wing. Today, British Knights may not dominate the streets, but their legacy definitely lives on. Vintage BKs are coveted by sneakerheads, and the brand's influence on merging fashion with sneakers paved the way for modern streetwear giants. In recent years, British Knights has attempted small-scale comebacks, releasing limited edition sneakers and collaborations aimed at nostalgia-loving consumers, but nothing has really been able to really help them so far. While British Knights may never reclaim their throne, their story is a reminder of how bold innovation and cultural connection can define an era. But what do you think? Were you a fan of BKs back in the day? Hit us in the comment section and let us know. And if you made it all the way through the video and you enjoyed what you saw, then we hope that you hit the like button. Liking and sharing these videos is the only way to help us finally hit that 20K and to continue to grow. We can't do it without you guys' help, so we really ask that you look out for us. And if you want to be updated whenever we drop a new episode, then hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, so you can be reminded when they release. With all that being said, I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com signing out until next time. Peace.